What is going on, everybody? My name is Micaiah and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be recapping Euphoria Season 2, Episode 2. Y'all, every time I get done with an episode of Euphoria, the first thing that pops into my mind is, what in the HE double hockey sticks did I just watch? What did I just witness? With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications. All my social medias will be at the end of the video and also linked in the description box down below. And let's get into this recap. So, the episode starts off with Nate in the hospital after being beaten to a pulp by FEXI at the end of episode 1 of season 2. Seeing Nate laying in that hospital bed just gave me so much serotonin. We didn't get enough of Nate in the hospital. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see him suffer. I wanted to watch him be given shots and have IVs stuck in his arm. I wanted to watch him bleed. Yeah, I wanted it all. They didn't give us enough. But what they did give us was this weird dream montage of Nate dreaming about a life with Cassie. Okay. Literally watching it, I was like, you know, I don't know how I feel about this. First of all, Cassie's pregnant. I would never get pregnant by Nate Jacobs. That's literally probably my biggest fear, is to get pregnant by Nate Jacobs or someone like Nate Jacobs. I would never. So him dreaming about that, disgusting. And after that, Cal is also in his dream, and there's a scene of him. I don't even want to say it. If you saw the episode, you know what he was doing. He was eating something. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm talking about if you saw the episode. Disgusting. Moving on. Did we need to see that? No. No, we did not. So after that, Cal is in reality, Cal's in the hospital with Nate, and he's talking to him inside his bed, and then Nate starts seizing, and then the title card for Euphoria rolls through, and you realize that you are back in Crazy Town. And after that, we are taking... Oh, and also, before I move on from Nate's dream sequence, did anyone catch that Jules was in it too? Y'all, I'm telling you, Nate has a obsession, a fixation with Jules. He doesn't love nobody. He keeps thinking he loves people. He likes viewing people as objects. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost. He doesn't love anyone. He likes to control people. And he likes to use them as puppets, essentially, for his pleasure, his desire to get to put out his anger and frustration on. Just everything. Everything about Nate. He doesn't love anyone. He becomes fixated on people. And he essentially uses them as to air out his baggage from his bad upbringing. But I also have to state, just because you were brought up in a bad environment does not mean that you have to be a bad person. I see some people defending Nate, and I'd be like, listen, if you can defend someone who literally beats somebody to a pulp and force them to admit to raping and choking, assaulting someone, I don't think you can be redeemed. I'm sorry. Like, there's some people that think Nate is a redeemable character, and I'm really like, really? You think so? I don't see it. But moving on, we see Rue at the school, and she fixates in on Jules, and she's all happy because she has her relationship now, which she does. Let's take this first and foremost. Homegirl doesn't need to be in a relationship at all. Period. You need to go to rehab. You need to get off drugs first before you even view someone as a potential partner. But I digress. But she sees Jules, and she goes up and she kisses her, and she goes, "You know, you're like a dream." Oh. You don't know what's my dream, Rue? You getting off these drugs. That's my dream. I don't know about anyone else, but she should dream about that. How about that? But then she sees Elliot out of her peripheral view, and she goes, "If this dude says anything about us doing drugs, I'll literally slit his throat in the quad." Girl. Not you threatening to kill somebody over you taking drugs at your own volition. Don't threaten that boy. He didn't force you to take them drugs. No one is forcing you to be a drug addict. So Elliot comes up to them, and they have this awkward interaction, which ends with Jules walking off crying. Which, am I the only one that thought she was being dramatic? Was the interaction awkward? Yes, but was her crying warranted or needed? No. Like, I swear, like, I have no problem with Jules. Let me state that first and foremost. But she's acting like she literally didn't show Rue a bite that she got from hooking up with another girl last season. But she has an awkward interaction with a guy that Rue knows, and she walks off crying. Also, even if something had have happened between Rue and Elliot at the New Year's party, which it didn't, they weren't together then. So, like, she was being dramatic for no reason. But I digress. And after that, we see we see Cassie is going through a depression right now. And she has this interesting conversation with Maddie. And she's like, "I can't say no." And Maddie says this really powerful line. She goes, "You just love to be loved." And I was like, wow, that really symbolizes Cassie that symbolizes Cassie's like whole character arc, honestly. She needs to feel love, to feel validated, and to feel important and special. And that's her issue. And I feel like it stems from her issues with her father leaving, for sure. So honestly, I feel for her to a certain degree. But at the same time, the messy side of me is ready for Maddie to find out so she can whoop her butt. But you know, I feel for her to a certain degree. But my sympathy for her is lessening with each passing episode. It truly is. It's just like trickling down. So after that, we see that Maddie calls Cassie, and she's like, "Nate sent me the sweetest message today." And she's like, "Oh, what did he say?" And you can just see that she's spiraling. Like, homegirl is really in love with a human trash bag. Like, both of them are. And it's just like, honestly, it kind of fits. Teenage girls, they are very gullible and easily impressionable. The majority of them. But it's just hard to see, like, even after all that Nate did to them last season, they're both over here swooning over him. Like, stand up. Stand up. Stop it. Get some help. So seeing that was hard, but then we find out that Maddie's a babysitter. And finally, I thought those scenes were so cute of her babysitting Theo. We find out she tried to donate her eggs. And she was like, I can't believe y'all aren't going to let me do that for money. I feel her, because I'm literally thinking about donating plasma for money, y'all. That's how hard this thing got out here. So I feel for her. And I understand. But we see her babysitting Theo, and then we see Maddie, this montage of her trying on all the expensive clothes in Theo's mom's closet. And Theo's mom and dad come back, and she has to quickly put everything back where it was. And we get to see Maddie interact with Theo's parents, and then Theo's mom asked her to unzip her dress. People on Twitter were saying they were getting lesbian vibes from that scene, which makes me laugh. But yep, Maddie leaves, and you see her babysitting, and after that, Maddie said she wanted to get pregnant, y'all. That really scared me, because I was like, I swear she better not be foreshadowing. Girl, do not get pregnant by Nate Jacobs. You will be tied to that food for the rest of your life. Please don't do it to yourself. Please don't. Oh, Lord. So, after that, we see Kat this episode, and she has this Game of Thrones fantasy about Ethan, and we get arguably one of the most powerful scenes on Euphoria, in my opinion, of her breakdown with the influencers all around her. Y'all, that made me cry. Like, I tell you, it was like one of the most powerful scenes I've ever seen. Like, I've always related to Kat heavily due to her feeling like she has to always be confident because she's a plus size girl, and she has to always like kind of own her confidence and her sexiness as more than, say, her skinnier friends. And I've always like related to and truly felt for her in that regard, because like most people don't understand like what it's like when you're curvier and plus size, and how you get unwanted comments like, you'll be so much prettier if you lost a little weight, and I probably would date you if you were 20 pounds lighter. Like, just stuff like that. Like, people just don't understand. And I love how in Rue's narration, she pointed out that in this day and age, everyone's always like, just be confident, girl. Like, just pick yourself up. Like, just be a bad bee. Like, I'm just like, it's easier said than done. Like, obviously, if I could wake up and be like, oh my God, I'm so confident, I feel so sexy, everyone's gonna love me, it would be great. It would be nice. But we gotta be realistic here. So, that scene was super powerful for me. And then we see Cal have the nerve to go to Cassie's house and intimidate her into telling him that Fez is the one who beat up Nate. First of all, I fault her mama for even letting him in the door to interrogate and intimidate her daughter. That's not his place. You're not from the police, sir. If I say I don't have nothing to say, or I have no answer for the questions that you have, you leave it at that. You have no place to come in that girl's house and interrogate her. And I'm even madder at Cassie for actually telling him. Like, girl, really? So, After that, we find out that Faye is living with Fezco now because Custer, her boyfriend, had to beg Fez to let her live with him after she mistakenly pushed the motel manager off the balcony, attracting unwanted attention to her drug dealer boyfriend. So now she's in Fez's life and causing him problems. And so after that, we find out about Faye, and we are up to date with her, and that she's living with Fezco. We get to see a kind of like a little montage of a backstory for Lexi, which was really exciting and special for me to see. We see how she says she's always been passive, and she's been like that her whole life. And we see that she told Rue that she was gonna tell someone that she needs to stop doing drugs because she was worried for her that she would overdose. And we see that she told her that a little bit before she actually overdosed. And seeing her reaction to her mom telling her that Rue overdosed broke my heart. Like, she blames herself for that stuff. That's what I'm talking about when I mean that Rue's actions affect other people. Like, she thinks that her actions only affect, I feel like she knows her actions affect other people, but she just cares so much about getting high and getting her next hit that she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't care about the people that she's affecting around her. And it's so sad to see, but it's also incredibly realistic, sadly. And so we see that, and how she blames herself for Rue overdosing. We see Cal following her on her bike, which was so weird. And we cut to Rue hanging out with Elliot at his place for a little while. We find out that Elliot sells music stems online for money. And then we see a scene that Jules invited Rue over for dinner, but she doesn't end up coming because she said she has an NA meeting, but she's actually hanging out with Elliot. Lying to your girlfriend. Yeah, never good. And so Rue's dad, not Rue, but Jules' dad asked her if Rue is a good influence, and Jules doesn't even answer. I feel like that says enough in itself. Like, I feel like her own girlfriend doesn't think she's a good influence. That's sad. It really is. And so after that, Rue has a deep talk with Elliot. Am I the only one who feels like this talk that she had with Elliot is like low-key deeper than any talk she's ever had with Jules? Let's talk about it. I was like, I think this is deeper than any talk she's ever had with Jules. Like, they talked about her dad and how losing her has affected him. He talks about how she loved Jules from the first time she saw her, and why she does drugs, and how she feels like she can only do things and communicate her feelings and express herself while she is under the influence of drugs, which is sad. And it's heartbreaking. And she feels like she's at peace when she has drugs in her system. So after her deep talk with Elliot, Rue runs into Ali, and she sits down on, one of those chairs that elderly people use to get up their stairs that moves them up the stairs. She sits down on one of those, and Ali is trying to talk to her, and she goes, "Let go, let God." You think you're funny. You're not. I'm not laughing. You need Jesus. You need God. At this point, you need something. Because you ain't doing nothing on your own, girl. You only running your whole life into the ground. So, you joking, but you need somebody. Ali's trying to help her doesn't listen. She never listens. And we see Elliot have a discussion with his cousins, and she's kind of like, "Are you into Rue?" And he's like, "She's a friend." And she's like, you rarely ever just have friends." And so that was kind of a quick, funny conversation snippet between Elliot and his cousin. And we see Maddie and Jules go. Maddie calls up Jules and she asks her if she wants to go bowling. And we get this adorable scene of Maddie and Jules spending time together, and Kat and Ethan are also there, and they go bowling. Can we talk about how much I love the fact that all of the Euphoria girls like interact and spend time together? Like, even though they're in different cliques, essentially, they all like spend time together and they're all friends. I feel like it's rare to see that in high school shows. Like, there's always like the main girl who's always the mean girl, which typically would be Maddie, and feels like they're above everyone and they're rude to everyone else. I love that they made Maddie not a typical mean girl, and she's friends with everyone. I love that the girls are all friends with one another. It's one of my favorite parts of Euphoria. I feel like it's realistic and it's such a new twist on the typical high school dynamic. So after that, we see Cassie and Nate in the car together, and he tells Cassie that they can't do this anymore and that they really need to stop what they're doing. And it upsets Cassie, and she gets out of the car and he runs after her, and they end up making out, and it's like abandoned, not abandoned, but in this construction site, like weirdos. I digress. And then Lexi gets dressed up and she goes to Fez's shop looking all cute, and I love Lexi and Fez's interaction. They're so cute. I love the way Fez looks at her, the way he interacts with her. She comes to the shop and he's like, "Lexi Howard." Like, I'm just like, oh, like everything about them just lights up my heart. Like, they're so precious. And she gets the wrong idea, I believe, about him and Faye. When she sees Faye is living with him, I feel like she takes it the wrong way, and she gets kind of jealous, I think, and she says she's just getting something to drink. And we also get to see Cal show up at the store. Y'all, when I tell you that scene was intense, when I was like on edge the entire scene, I was like, yo, please don't tell me this fool is fixing to shoot somebody or pull out his gun. So they have this really intense scene. Cal shows up asking all these questions, and he has a gun in his jacket. And Ashtray, as always, is strapped. He with it. So he's looking at Cal like, pull that gun out if you bad. You finna get a cap busted in you. I love Ashtray. I don't know if anybody else does, but homeboy is always ready for whatever. And I respect it. Okay? So Cal is like, asks all these questions, and then eventually he leaves. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Scared the crap out of me. Maddie and Jules have a talk at the bowling alley, and Maddie is like, I think I'm going to get back together with Nate. And Jules is like, girl, don't do it, girl. Don't do it. And she tells her that, basically Jules tells her that she deserves better. And that, I think Maddie says that she's just scared that Maddie's just scared that she won't find love again. That's honestly I feel like the main reason she keeps reconsidering getting back with Nate. Because she's scared that she won't find love again, which isn't true. She's such a beautiful girl, and she deserves better. She deserves someone better, much better than Nate Jacobs. And so, after Rue, we see Rue at her NA meeting. Ali tells her he's going to take her home, so he gives her a ride home, and then he goes into Rue's house and introduces himself to her mom, and Rue is scared that he's going to tell her mom that she is relapsed and is using drugs again, which he should have. But she doesn't, because she got lucky that Ali isn't messy. That Ali isn't messy like she is. And he doesn't tell her. And we see, we cut to Fez, and he's in his pajamas, his Eminem pajamas, looking adorable. And he sets the alarm on his house, and you kind of see that he's kind of uneasy and on edge, and he's kind of looking out of his house in kind of like a protective manner. And we cut back to Maddie and Jules goes, "I wish you could see yourself the way the rest of the world does." And I had to write that down because I thought that line was so beautiful. Like, I truly wish that Maddie could see herself the way everyone else does too. Like, she's so beautiful, and Maddie's really compassionate. Like, she loves love, like just like Cassie in a lot of ways. But I truly feel like she deserves better. I want better for her. And we get to see that Cassie goes home after Ali leaves Rue's house and doesn't tell her mama. Cassie returns back to her home, and Fez puts Faye in bed and puts her to sleep. And Nate returns home and has a conversation with Cal, a very tense one, might I add. And he tells him that Jules and Rue and Fez and all of them are conspiring to threaten to tell the cops about Cal. And Nate reveals that he knows that Cal filmed Jules, and the episode ends after Cal asks him, does he have the disc? And woo! Craziness, y'all. Episode was insane. I was just sitting there like the whole time, like, I can't believe I'm watching what I'm watching. Like, this is some craziness. So after I put this video up, I will shortly have my review up for season 2, episode 3. So I am excited to post that for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and all of my social medias will be linked in the description box down below and at the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you enjoy my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.